Hey, Horror Hounds, this is Brian from the Third Channel, Home of Horror. And before you listen to this episode, I want to warn you that there will be spoilers about the recently released In a Violent Nature. Dave and I are going to be talking about the plot, the kills, and, all that good stuff. If you have not seen the film, do not watch this episode. If you have seen the film, please give us a comment of what you liked about it. And as always, make sure you follow us on Facebook and you can follow us on YouTube and Spotify.
Hey, Horror Hounds, Dave Brown here with my good friend Bryan Emmenheiser, aka South Jersey Jason. We just wanted to jump on here real quick and give a quick review of the biggest movie that's out there right now in the sense of anything that's come to terms of horror genre that relates to Friday the 13th in a violent nature, Brian. I saw it last night. Like I was telling you, I'm in Brooklyn. There wasn't many people in the theater. There was like 3 couples, if that, and it was pretty quiet. But first off, what did you think? You saw it. You saw it way before me. If this week,
Yeah, I saw it Wednesday night. AMC had usually like when they do a soft opening, it's on Thursday, but they did a Wednesday. Because they played it Wednesday, Thursday, and then into the weekend. And the theater, it was a smaller theater. The capacity was 105, and I would say it was half filled. So,
okay,
which was good. I'm happy because
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
independent films need more love. And
exactly.
as soon as I saw the trailer, I was intrigued. And as soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, did they watch His Name Was Jason? Because
yeah,
everything, like all the clothing looked like your clothing in
yeah.
His Name Was Jason. And I
Well,
was,
I've been waiting for this movie for. Was it? I guess it's been talked about for a year and a half that I've known about it.
mhm.
And of course, everybody that is a Friday the 13th fan said, "Hey, let's be real. This they got a lot of their inspiration, even down to his
Oh,
name. His name was Johnny,
and
and
he had he was deformed as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, all the writing was on the wall for this, and I, with me and you especially knowing what we see with fan films that were produced." I think we were okay with that, and we went in with open heart and
Hmm.
open expectations of what we were going to see. It's not a big box office budget that was involved in this. What was the guy's name that directed this? Is it
I'm
Nash?
actually gonna look it up now because I want to see if it shows the budget. So just give me one
Yeah.
second.
So I was really excited to see this. I said when they were talking about this a year and a half ago when it came up on social media, and especially the idea and the concept of being through the eyes of the killer, which, as you can agree, it was that.
Yeah.
We saw everything from beginning to end, pretty much of what the killer, the antagonist, would see as he's doing these killings.
Hmm.
Um, I really there's been mixed reviews out there, and I really feel like if you go into this movie knowing that it's an indie film, with the idea and the feeling too that it almost felt like a fan film with a higher budget.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It was written and directed by Chris Nash, and it was
Chris.
filmed in Ontario, Canada in 2021.
Okay, all right. So it's a couple years in the making. I think it was sponsored or not sponsored, but it's a Shutter film. If I
Yeah,
if I recall
and
correctly.
Shutter's knocking it out of the park right now.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
And then this will leave theater and then go to Shutter. I don't think it'll be playing side by side, but I think the idea is they were going to try this in theaters. And I've been trying to get in to see it since a week ago, and it's been sold out. And I got lucky; the theater not too far from me had brought it in, Alpine Cinema. All in all, Brian, on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me what you think. Tell me what you felt.
So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of a 10.
Okay.
Um, I really liked that we were the perspective of the killer, like we were basically on his shoulder, and I really liked that there was no musical score with it.
Not at
And
all. Not
yeah,
at all.
um, the reason I gave it a seven, it was really down to the acting. I felt there was only one good actor, other than Laura Marie Taylor,
Right.
and that was the guy who was telling the story of The Legend of Johnny.
Yeah, and I noticed that, I felt the sound was off. Like I couldn't hear it very well, and I don't know if that was my theater's layout, but
I think it was the theater because I could hear everything.
yeah, I struggled. I was listening to the story intently. It was a good story. It had a good backstory.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I was having a problem. So it must have been my theater trying to hear the story. But I agree. The acting itself was, I assume everybody, all these people other than Lauren, were unknowns. I really didn't
Hmm.
see a face that I knew. Of the main kids around the campfire that were part of this. Um, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you said a six that you felt.
No, seven,
Oh,
seven.
seven. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rolling. I'm rolling around a six. I'm rolling
Okay.
around.
Okay. I felt like it just took the beginning was a little long, like
It was a
because
slow burn. It was a slow
yeah,
burn.
you hear them walking in the woods talking about, oh, this is like the dilapidated whatever, and then it took some time for Johnny to rise. And then I immediately thought the first place he went to was his house. I
Yeah.
felt like that was like the old man yelling at the park ranger was his dad, and that was not accurate.
No.
Um, so the kills were top notch.
Oh,
They weren't over the top.
I mean,
What was your favorite kill?
well, let's talk about practical effects. This was all 100% practical effects.
Yeah.
I think, except for maybe one or two, but personally, I feel like if we got another Friday the 13th film, I want kills like this.
Yes.
I appreciate the 80s and what the kills were like. They were very quick, they were very abrupt,
Hmm.
but Johnny took his time and he enjoyed
Yes.
what he was doing. I think the yoga kill was awesome.
That's my favorite
Uh,
one.
that
Yeah.
that was my favorite. Like it was slow, it was painful, and then it was methodical, like
Hmm.
and natural at the same time for him to do what he did. It
Yeah.
just this guy, he has a mission, and he wants that locket of his mother.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then I think the log splitter was pretty intense. Yeah,
That was, yeah, I liked this. He broke the guy's back immediately.
yeah, which he
And
felt no pain. I guess before we do all this, Brian, we got to put up a spoiler in the beginning of this
yeah,
because
it's,
we're ruining everything.
yeah,
We're,
yeah, spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
we've ruined it for you at this point if you
Yeah.
turn. But yeah, the log splitter was insane, and I was just upset because he didn't feel it. you know?
Well, that was makes it all the more better because he didn't feel it, like,
That's true. He was witnessing it and he couldn't.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
I thought when he put him on a log splitter, I thought he was going to have him just go straight down.
I thought the groin was down. But I felt like the arm was. Let me test it to see if it works first.
Right, right, yeah.
But
Yeah, he definitely enjoyed the killing, and that could be the child aspects in him, maybe,
yeah,
Um, yeah, definitely the yoga scene, like, was my favorite. Like, just like at first I didn't know what he was impaling her with. I thought it was like a tree limb or something.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then, you've realized it's a chain, and then he turns around and spikes her, and then turns around again, and just, oh,
Oh
I
my god.
really liked how he also, previous to that, he went into the lake.
Yeah, that was a very Jason-esque
Very
move.
Jason, and I kind of wish you saw that from his perspective too.
Underwater. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Um,
it was hard.
when he killed the storyteller, I
Mhm.
immediately got his name was Jason vibes instead of like the barbed wire. It
It was
was the
nasty.
hacksaw. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was great.
yeah. Well, the only time a half cap like that was in Wrong Turn.
Oh yes, yes,
Remember
yep,
the
yeah,
tree?
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. And I like how he used his body to open up and then the whole thing came into play with the hood, which I was glad. Remember, I had mentioned I was like, I don't know where how this hood's going to come into
Mm-hmm.
play, but it really explained about the whole fireman thing
Mm-hmm.
and how he used that body to smash to get to the hood on the wall. I thought that was great. But
Yeah.
the story was really is what intrigued me. It was just a different take about how he obtained the hood when he was younger, and how he wore it. Yeah, I mean the kills, and then there was the rock. We're going to be all over this because we're doing this in 30 minutes. But the rock kill with one of the final guys where he smashed his head with the rock, I felt it was very, uh, you know, what is that Jason Brooks movie? I'm sorry. Remember he smashed his head, Jason Brooks. Uh,
Vengeance.
yeah, Vengeance. He
Okay.
smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if this guy Nash watched a lot of the fan films. I wonder if he did research and he got some inspiration in some sense. Obviously, Friday the 13th is in there, but
Yeah.
when you're looking to do an indie film, you're probably looking and seeing what's out there, and there's
Yeah.
there's inspirations in some sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even with him unmasked, I felt he was a ghost Jason. I didn't expect to see his face.
No, neither did I. I like they humanized him in that one scene where he's playing with the toy car.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's the story.
because that's what he liked to. They talked about that he liked to play with his toy cars,
Yeah,
and he left it out, and the guy tripped, and that's what caused the guy to play that prank on him. And then
yeah,
he just crushed it. But like when he acts the one guy, and then he gets shot, so he's immortal. Obviously, because he rose from the grave.
right.
And here you think they're going to get away, and he throws the axe, but you don't even hear a
No,
thud. You see
no,
the
no,
aftermath,
no.
and he got him right in the head.
Yeah. They did some drone work with that too. That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. All in all, it was. I felt like 60% of it was watching him walk from the back.
yes,
And
and
I'm like, if they did throw in some music with that, it may have helped me. Like, all right, let's move it along. Let's move it along. That's why I'm giving it on a six. Let's say
mhm.
6.5. But as an indie filmmaker, as myself and you too, with the Huntsman, there's when there's only so much money to play with, and you want to be creative in a different sense. I think they nailed it on the head.
Mhm.
And go into this movie expecting big off box office budget, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
No,
I
no.
think go into it appreciating for what it is, open mind and open heart for just horror genre and something new and fresh. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I mean it's got an 87% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which was
Mhm.
good.
Yeah,
I think the older horror fans will appreciate it
yeah,
because of the style it is. Newer fans, not so much, maybe. I haven't really seen too much posting of in the horror groups about people going to see it.
right.
Um, I went in just knowing what it was, and I appreciate it. I think it's going to do well. It's not going to be like Terrifier level well at the
No,
theater because people want that gore porn. But I think
yeah,
once it gets on Shutter, a lot more people are going to watch it, and it'll probably be on Shutter. I'm going to say within a month because that's how um, Late Night the Devil was. It was a month after it released, and I hope Shutter continues to put out stuff like this. You
yeah.
know?
I think it's going to benefit them in the long run. Especially if you're going to drop it in a theater and small indie theaters or it doesn't have to be across the board, which is
Hmm.
understandable. But I did when I got home last night. I did text through Instagram Lauren Taylor, and I said I kept waiting for you. I kept
Hmm.
waiting for first you're the end parts of it. And I said kudos. I said fantastic job. And she was quick to write back. She goes, yeah. She goes, a lot of fun. And I think once it goes to Shutter, it's gonna explode.
Yeah, I
And
messaged her and said was excited to see you on screen. I was waiting for, when you were going to pop up. I was the whole time seeing you on screen. I thought you weren't going to make it out. Like when she was doing
I
the
was
tourniquet.
tense. I was tense.
Yes.
I was like,
when
he,
she was applying the tourniquet, I felt that's when she was going to get killed.
yeah. I felt like she was going to portray a Pamela Voorhees,
Right, like a family member type. Yep.
because it really, as a protector, and maybe drive this girl back to his,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, I felt the ending was just a little lackluster. Like the car, not so much the car ride, but like I don't know. I
it
mean,
was
I
a
like
long car ride.
it
It
was a
was a
long
long.
car ride, and obviously at the end, the necklace was off of the gas tank.
Yep,
So
yep.
I wonder if he'll go back to his grave or if he will keep room in the woods.
Yeah, yeah. I they left definitely when when they cut to black, they left it open ended. But I mean, I would like to see it manifest into something else without getting too hokey and dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the same formula and
Yeah,
maybe do like when the park ranger was telling the story of 10 years ago when he took him out. Something like that.
yeah.
I could see them doing a trilogy. Maybe I would like to see like maybe if they did like a prequel of 10 years prior in that movie they do a flashback of when he died,
I
you
mean,
know.
in all honesty, and a fan of Never Hike Alone, Never Hike Alone could have done what this film did in theater. Like
Oh, for sure.
I really feel uh, Vince was tapped into that because watching this, I felt like it was almost like watching Never Hike Alone. Like that
Yeah,
whole,
or even, even some of the scenes, like when he's walking in the woods, there was the long shot and you saw like the vegetation. You know what that reminded me of was like our shots from Seasons of the Huntsman,
yeah, yeah,
because like the mushroom shot,
yeah.
Um,
Walked
even
up
like down to like there was like the chains in the woods, like the animal traps and
a
stuff.
trap. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
love the dead animal that they showed. I mean, it was filmed cinematography. It was filmed spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Although I mean, they even went so far there wasn't even blue light for the
No,
night shots because
no,
there was, like when he was before he did his first or his second kill, you had a hard time seeing it. I'm like, well, they're
yeah,
going for natural.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you find them in the fire, you can see a faint silhouette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I really appreciated all the filming, and to know that it was in Canada, that it was just beautifully filmed up there. I guess,
Yeah, and
maybe,
I'm
or
sorry.
I don't know if they filmed it in Ontario or Quebec. I can't remember.
Here I'm actually on the Wikipedia page. Kawartha Lakes area of Central Ontario.
Okay, because the
And then it was ultimately the filming initially took place in the Kawartha Lakes area of central Ontario, but Nash later recalled that locale just felt like it wasn't hitting the right note for us. The film was ultimately shot in Algoma District, Ontario, near Salt something Marie.
okay,
So, um, I liked like when you heard the other campers talking about, oh, you saw the guy in the background.
yeah,
I kind of wish they showed the photo a little bit just to see it,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
knew that was going to happen. Like he was obviously watching them. They were going to get a picture of him, not realize it right then and there.
I thought,
So, but yeah, I felt it was a good paced movie.
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't, to me, it wasn't slow. Um, I just overall I enjoyed it. I'm glad I went and saw it in the theaters.
They you could see where they jumped segments to make him move faster with
Hmm.
filming,
Yeah.
and thank God they did that in some of the parts. But there was a point where he was walking around the cabin when he beat the horn on the car,
Yes.
and it seemed like he was quickening his pace at that point.
Hmm.
He was starting to get a little bit more
Yeah,
anxious
because he was setting the trap for them, and he wanted to make sure he got around in time to do what needed to
and
do, which was a great ploy.
very, very, very methodical. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
was great. My feeling, like I said, a little bit more like some type of low hum music. I think would have been, a nice filler. But I get it. I get what they were going for. But all in all, it was. I think for a summer slasher movie that if you're looking for a Friday the 13th, which we're not going to get anytime soon, go see it.
Hmm.
Go in expecting, what it is. It's just an indie film. Practical effects were amazing. I mean, I want kills like that for a Jason movie.
Yeah.
if Hollywood's going to pick that up, take some notes from this guy because he tapped into it. And
Hmm.
the overall look of Jason with the fireman's hood and
Johnny, not Jason.
Johnny, I think was fantastic. Was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. And actually, there's already Jim Ingram of J3 Jason Costumes wants to make a Johnny costume, and
Mm,
relatively, it's not that hard. I already have finding the exact flannel. I haven't found it online yet, but I have a type of flannel. I showed it to him, and he's like, "Yeah,
yeah,
that'll work." And it's just silver pants.
I,
It's the mask that's the hard part, which we talked about. Freaking $6,000.
yeah. I guess you have to just if he knows how to sew and leather.
Well, there's already sites selling a costume with like the clothing and the a mask. The clothing looks like crap. It's $50. But
Mm,
it comes with the mask, but he says he can weather it and make it somewhat. But
yeah,
I mean, yeah, so we'll see,
yeah, yeah.
um
I,
any
I I think we'll see some popping up for the holiday, October spooky season, for
yeah,
sure.
it's just I would love to get like a replica of the hooks.
Yeah,
Like the hook chain that, if I can get maybe like the hooks 3D printed and just put it on Fox chain.
yeah.
But
Hanging around.
I can always just work it off with an axe for right now.
But when he
Um,
woke up out of the grave, he dropped chains around himself. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Yeah, when he got out of the grave, I heard
Oh, he
chains.
was probably tied up because
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
they were going to do at the end. The park ranger wanted to tie him up,
yeah. Dropped.
and I was right along with that guy. I would not want to tie up.
The Jason shack they had him in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The John,
Yeah. So overall, it was a great film. You know what wasn't a great film? The First Omen.
I watched it last night. I fell
Did
asleep.
you? Oh, I
Yeah,
don't. It.
I think some of it was filmed pretty decent. They tried to take some of the hints from the original Omen. But yeah, the storyline that was just going on and on. I'm like, okay, I'm falling
I
asleep.
wonder if the writer of the First Omen and the writer of Immaculate like got together and said, "Hey, let's make our own type of Omen," because Immaculate was the same way. Have you
Yeah,
seen Immaculate yet? I,
no.
pretty much like how like when they did like the Exorcist, the version you never saw, or the prequel. There's like two prequels and different.
Uh,
That's how Immaculate and the First
uh,
Omen was. I mean, the
the
beginning, like
birth
the
I really did appreciate with the hand. That was creepy as hell.
well, you
That
didn't
was,
get to the end when she like when she goes into labor. That was
Mhm.
awesome. I'd like that scene, yes, but like when she goes into labor, that was great. But it was like watching paint dry. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I'm like,
Yeah.
can I cut through some of this and just get to the points?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably finish watching it tonight. We'll see. But yeah, it
What
wasn't
did
in.
what did your date think of the in Violent Nature?
She likes horror. Carolyn likes horror. She says it wasn't her favorite because she likes more fast paced. She did
Yeah.
appreciate Hills. One thing that we didn't notice, there wasn't any, and I guess that's because it's through the eyes of Johnny. There's no jump scares, at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I when I was anticipating one or two, I was like, God, I was hoping I was getting one, but I think the shock was in the kills, like, oh,
Mhm.
but there wasn't like, she was looking for those. She likes that in horror films. She likes
Right.
jump.
And obviously there was no character development. So
No, no,
I mean the only character development was on Johnny.
yeah,
So, you
just,
know.
just about him and the kills.
Yeah. Yeah. But
The
yeah.
mirrors, the mirror scene was cool, like the relaying back of his youth, and the father talking to him in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That,
Mm-hmm.
that was really, really done well. That was done
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. All right,
So that,
Anson.
I'm glad we were able to do this two recordings in 1 week. That's
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. All righty.
All right,
So
so like closing feed. Go see it, go check it out, go in with open mind, and if you like it, great. If not, that's okay too. But I'm sure we're going to get positive and negative on both sides for this film, Brian.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I'll be interested to see what the box office take is because I
Yeah,
don't know what. I don't think anything new came out this week other than the second week of Garfield and the Mad Max movie. So it'd be
Right.
interesting to see what his
But
take was this
it's
weekend.
okay because it's still, Memorial Day week,
Hmm.
following. It might ping in some big bucks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see. All right, guys.
Alrighty.
Later.
All right. Take care, everyone.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.